Hello everyone, I wanted to hold off on making this video until August before seeing how the shift in best in slot affixes went first. This will be a pretty straightforward guide where I talk about what best in slot affixes are, as well as how to farm the required materials needed for each individual capsule. So what is best in slot, you might be asking? Well, best in slot actually varies and has about, I want to say, 3 or so variations, which changes depending on the class in Fixa. There's a general bit best in slot for those not using a bandack, one for using a bandack, and one for Slayer. With the exception of a bandack, the builds are more or less the same with minor variations between one another. Let's get into what each one is first. The first build is what I would call the general best in slot. This works for basically everyone not using Fixa a bandack. Keep in mind that weapons are slightly different as they use 3 EX hogs over some best in slot affixes. You'll likely be swapping out Grand Dread I just can't stop this. Grand Dread Keeper 2, Megatriel, and High Kvar Domina for 3 different EX hogs. First off, you will need a Anati Capsule, Grand Gladius Soul, Grand Gigas Maste, Lux Halfanel, and then 3 EX hogs on the weapon. The units will basically require pretty much the same thing with any variant of an Anati Capsule, Grand Gladius Soul, Grand Gigas Maste, Lux Halfanel, Grand Dread Keeper 2, see, I got it right this time, Megatriel, and High Kvar Domina. The affixes focuses on maximizing your potency and floor potency and is basically what you are aiming for if you plan on maximizing your damage. You can use any Anati capsule, but the best choice would be Anati Death probably. If you plan on using Fixa Bandack, your build will probably wind up looking something like this. Any variant of Anati capsule, Grand Gladius Soul, Grand Gigas Maste, Lux Halfanel, Megatriel, Grand Jet Keeper 2, and High Kvar Domina on Unit 1. Unit 2 will have any variant of another Anati capsule, Grand Gladius Soul, Grand Gigas Maste, Lux Halfanel, Ward Triel, or basically any Triel that you haven't already used, Duable V, which can also be any variant of Duable B, there are also S affixes you can use, and then High Ret Domina. You can also use High Kvar Domina S if you have that as an option. Unit 2, you have any variant of an Anati capsule again, Grand Gladius Soul, Grand Gigas Maste, Lux Halfanel, another Triel, which can also be Megatriel S, any Duable V, which can be, again, any variant of Duable that can still give you potency for whatever you're hitting off of, and then High Ale Domina, or a Ret Domina S, or High Kvar Domina S, depending on what you've already used. The weapon will basically be the exact same thing as the previous build, so Anati, Glan, Lux, and 3 EX hogs. This yields 19 unique affixes for Fixa Bandack. If you have S capsules, you can also switch out basically anything for those as well. If you want 20 unique Augs, however, you'll have to take out a potency hit or whale for Grand, or Lux S capsules, which I strongly recommend you don't do. Seriously guys, don't waste your money for 70 pulls, it's not worth it. You can buy a burger for that money. Finally, if you're using Slayer, since you don't need to rely on potency floor as much, your units will look like this. Keep in mind that floor potency Slayer does work, but you'd be better off just going full potency for most people watching this guide. Anati Capsule, Grand Gladius Soul, Grand Gigas Maste, Lux Halfanel, Megatriel, Duable V, which can be Melrat or Ratek, Triel Gua, or Ward or Precision V. That's basically what you're looking for in terms of units and weapons, so let's explain how to get all of these mix affixes. I'll skip over the obvious capsules like Duable V, Stat V, Triel, and EX affixes because those are very common drops that you will likely stumble upon without even trying these days. First off, we have Lux Halfanel. Lux Halfanel requires dominas from each of the 4 regions, which is Ale Domina, Kvar Domina, Ret Domina, and Stira Domina, Aegis Soul IV, and Foundia. You will also need a weaker version of the capsule Halfanel before making Lux. Dominas are found most commonly from chests in Nameless City alongside Foundia. Aegis Soul IV has an exchange for 50 a week in the Aegis Integra shop, but you can also get them from Battle of Halpia Lake or Malignant Dark Pulse Aegis. Though you're going to be looking at a pretty awful time because this is an extremely slow process. You can also trade in Genesis points for Foundia too, and Dominas can also be exchanged at the Aegis Integra exchange shop, but you're likely to get most of them from Nameless City. Grand Gigas Maste. In order to make this, you need Gigas 4 capsules for Middle Fusia and Foundia. Like Lux Halfanel, you need to make the weaker version first, which is Gigas Maste. Gigas IV capsules can be farmed extremely fast from Aleo Intruders Ring 3, which can be found at Halpia Lake as a trigger portal. For Middle Fusia is a 100% drop rate in any of the dual Phase 1 fights, and as mentioned before Foundia, can be found And as mentioned before, Foundia can be found in a few exchanges. Grand Gladiosol, as per with the other previous capsules, you will need the base affix Gladiosol, which requires Starosol, a common starless enemy drop, or Radisol IV, which can be obtained as a clear reward from Darkfall's Interception, or from chests in Nameless City, as well as Foundia. Next is Grand Dreadkeeper 2. This requires I hate this affix name so much. This requires Dreadkeeper. Did I say Drand? This requires Grand Dreadkeeper 1, which can be made from Iris Fusia, which is found in Dual Phase 3. They should just nuke this affix from the game period because I can't pronounce it. Dreadkeeper 5, which is a moderately uncommon drop from Dread enemies that are level 80 and up. You can go either to Ramakawa, I can't pronounce that. Sega, stop making these names. Rare Gorge, or for Dreadkeeper V. To make Dreadkeeper 2, you will need 30 of any mix of doable 5 capsules, which can be made from stat 5 capsules. Both of these drop from level 90 Alio combat zones and urgent quests in Alio. Mega Trial is an affixed capsule that requires 30 of any mix of Trio capsule and 3 Dero Trial. Dero Trial can be found in Alio Intruders rank 3, where it drops 6 for every S rank of the quest you do. You should really farm this if you have nothing better to do. This is a really good quest. With this, we have the final craftable capsule, Hakavar Domina. These are the hardest to make, but really cheap to buy because of how many treasure shop scratches we've had, but its price is completely tanked. Normally, I don't recommend buying capsules, but if you're going to buy one, this is the one, because it's too annoying to farm combat zones for the needed capsules. Each Haidomina requires a massive amount of each combat zone note affix to make, as well as Kavar Sovereign, which is a regional combat zone drop. Both Retum and Alio have their own versions of this affix too, and it's likely when we get a new rank for Stia, we will get Stiradomina too. High Stiradomina too. This leaves Anati capsules. These are AC support capsules with a 100% success rate, which can be bought off the player market. I recommend buying them when the scratch is live and not afterwards, as the prices will usually go up once it leaves by quite a bit. There are also the S capsules, which you use. Some of these are scratch bonuses, some are from SG support, and some are from the treasure shop. These are good to use due to their 100% pass rate, but don't waste your money on the scratch bonus ones, as they will cost you an arm, a leg, and your next unborn child, which I'm pretty sure no one wants to get rid of. So we went over how to get everything, which means congratulations! You now know how to farm for best in slot. You can either use this guide as a means of making a setup or to gear yourself up. I personally recommend both, but it's entirely up to you. With that being said, that's all I wanted to cover. See you all next time, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, can we please just remove I couldn't even say it even in the outro. Grand Dreadkeeper. This is just gonna become a meme at this point.